purification. All the evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and folly, born of my body, mouth, and thought, I now confess and purify them all.
Rohatsu Exhortation, the Seventh Night, by Hakuin Ekaku Zenji. The Master said to the monks, quote, "It is said, if one person renounces home, 9 generations of his family will be born in heaven." Unquote. The renouncer of home must be a true renouncer of home. To become a true renouncer of home means to uphold a great vow with a daring spirit, thus cutting through the root of life. Then Dharma nature reveals itself. This kind of person is called a true renouncer of home. That saying, 9 generations of his family will be born in heaven, is the truth, not a lie. Years ago, there was a woman living in Banshu in western Japan. The night she conceived, she made a vow that if the baby were a boy, she would have him become a renouncer of home. On that night, an old man appeared in her dream and told her, "I am one of your ancestors of 9 generations ago. After my death, I fell into hell and experienced innumerable torments. Now, upon hearing your intense vow, I am free from the suffering of hell." Also, there was a priest called Ryozen who lived in Koshu near Mount Daibosatsu. He was leading a group of students. According to tradition, he sat with his students during Rohatsu session. One night, his deceased mother appeared with a knife and immediately stabbed him in his armpit. He screamed aloud and in agony spat up blood and fainted. After a while, Ryozen was revived. The next day, he suddenly left his students and began a pilgrimage, carrying only 1 bowl and 3 loaves. He ate a little and slept under trees. He visited teachers asking about the way. Years passed. and his samadhi ripened. One day, when he was about to enter samadhi, his deceased mother appeared again. When he looked up, she disappeared. Repeating his practice in this way, at last he was able to enter a samadhi as calm as the depths of the ocean. His mother came back and told him, "After my death, I went to hell. All the devils respected me, saying, 'You are the mother of a renouncer of home.' I experienced no suffering. However, when you are 20 years old, the devils told me, 'We used to think that you were the mother of renouncer of home, but now we have discovered that you are the mother of an ordinary man.' They put me in shackles and beat me with iron staff. I endured unspeakable suffering. My hatred towards you penetrated into my bones. Therefore, I came and pierced you with my knife. You left your temple in remorse and began your pilgrimage. When I came to see you later, your attachment to life was not yet extinguished. So I hid myself. Now your samadhi and wisdom are clear, and my agony has come to an end. I have been reborn in a celestial land. I have come today to express my thanks to you. You monks, all of you without exception, have a father and a mother, brothers and sisters, and countless relatives. Suppose you are to count them all, life after life, there would be thousands, 10,000, and even more of them. All are transmigrating in the sixth world and suffering innumerable torments. They await your enlightenment as keenly as they would await a small rain cloud on a distant horizon during a drought. How can you sit so half-heartedly? You must have a great vow to save them all. Time passes like an arrow. It waits for no one. Exert yourself. Exhaust yourself. Since today's Zazenkai is named as Rohatsu Zazenkai. Instead of going into the gateless gate, I thought it is appropriate to study the Hakuin Zenji's Rohatsu Exhortation, the last night, the seventh night. The content of his exhortation is almost self-explanatory, but just imagine this much. The temple Hakuin Zenji lived is called Shōinji. It is about maybe 2 hours away from Ryutakuji on walking. The temple itself, even now, small, but on those days it was smaller. Nevertheless, due to Hakuin Zenji's virtue, many enthusiastic monks came and sat with him. And according to Genpo Roshi, over 80 years old Hakuin Zenji walked with Keisaku and encouraged all these monks, and speaking extemporaneously each evening to deepen their understanding and hoping their bodies would realize the taste, exquisite taste of Zazen. This is very important. Exquisite taste of Zazen. It's been 250 years since Hakuin Zenji departed, but this Rohatsu Exhortation has been read all over the Japanese monasteries and translated into English and translated into German and many other languages, I believe. So in the West, and this is one of the most difficult things for me to convey, and perhaps, frankly, not possible. Even Hakuin Zenji used the word of heaven is great place and hell is terrible. And after one passes away, he or she goes either heaven or hell according to their karma. Now, changing a little bit from that line, Rinzai's teacher was Obaku Kiun Zenji. He became a monk. He was a renouncer of home. And he had a mother. And he had no brother, no sister. So from her, Obaku was the only child. And she was blind. So normally, this is very what should I say? It's almost never happened. Only child left blind mother and to become a Buddhist monk. But nevertheless, this is what happened. And Obaku was one of these unsui monks traveling this place and that place and sat and continued his own pilgrimage. But from time to time, he came back to see how mother was doing. In the meantime, that mother opened her house for a traveling monk to stay. And she said to the monks, "Thank you for coming to my house, and I have made a vow to wash your feet. Will you please allow me to do so?" So monks are reluctantly, but happily perhaps, blind woman washed monk's feet. The reason why she did so was Obaku had some unique spot in his feet, so she knew of it, but Obaku somehow sneakily avoided to be touched by her. So years passed. When she became really old, Obaku came and stayed overnight, and he must be happy to see her, but she couldn't see him. The following day, neighbor told her, "Oh, you must have a wonderful night. I saw your son, Kiun-san, Obaku Kiun Zenji, Kiun-san this morning." So she was shocked and screamingly pursued her son, Kiun, Kiun, Kiun. As she was blind, she fell into the river and passed away. Then, that evening, funeral service for her took place, and Obaku said to her, to the participants, quoting what Hakuin Zenji said, 一子出家すれば旧俗天に生ず。もし生ぜざれば諸仏猛語、諸仏猛語。The translation goes something like this. It is said, when one son become a Buddhist monk, 9 generations of his family will be born in heaven. If that is not happened, all Buddhas and patriarchs have been telling a lie. Telling a lie. Now, this is another ancient story, and perhaps difficult to comprehend. But what Master Hakuin was saying, you student of Dharma, or you monks, or student of Dharma, must have a great vow. We often chant, 主情無変性願道、煩悩無尽性願断、訪問無量性願学、仏道無常性願上。However innumerable all beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it. Except the last line. The first line, second line, and the third line are impossible. Nevertheless, we chant. One of the reasons why I used to sing Mandukula Mancha's Impossible Dream is in connection with Shujō Muhen Seigando, knowing that it's impossible, but it's a dream, or at least a direction. So, what we can do in our level, well, since everyone has different thinking, so let me tell you my vow is to introduce the Zen practice, not Zen Buddhism as a religious teaching, or it even implies religious philosophy. This kind of things can be done by D.T. Suzuki and some other great scholars. But what we can do, or at least what I can do, I thought, is to introduce the Zen practice to those people who have no idea what is the Zen practice. And, as I said, let their body taste exquisite taste, unforgettable taste, and unforgettable breath, unforgettable circulation, accumulation of chi energy. This is perhaps I should do, and this is more concrete than Shujō Muhen Seigando. So, maybe successfully or not successfully, but at least a few people using their body and mind and breath. This exquisite taste of samadhi has been rooted in the American, European continent. Now, November and December, I've been doing 3 sessions. And I just came back from Switzerland. And I realized that the more I do session, the more subtlety. Like today, I said, the upper part of your body must be soft before sitting. The tension or tightness would not be so effective. And this simple statement, I knew for a long time, but never said before. Or like lean the top of your pelvis forward and make a curve in your back, and this curve section must feel a pressure or pain. And without that, it's merely ended up like Zensho's dream. Of course, that's your business. So my business is just talking. Anyway, it's very rare. You have to realize how rare it is to have Rohatsu sitting with someone who had the authentic training and who has a taste of exquisite taste and willing to share. And yet, so going into samadhi, what Hakuin Zenji mentions, or deceased mother appeared with a knife, and this is, you may think, one of these ancient stories. But anyway, what I was going to say is this, again, going sidewalk. Until this morning, I had no idea that I would be doing jikijitsu. But under the circumstance, okay, I will do it. And as you perhaps noticed, when jikijitsu is well experienced, the instruments put everybody together. And I regret that I did not teach you this jikijitsu matter. So maybe from next year, every Zazenkai joke should be different, and I will do jikijitsu for a while. And then at least 5 or 6 people can master jikijitsu so that even I deceased, the Rinzai Sangha will continue. And if it is now, I can't die. Thanks for Teisho. So this is a new thought. Well, for me, it's nothing special. It's my body remembers, my body knows, and I don't have to look all the paper instructions. That body knows, like you drive, you don't have to look. Your body knows how to do it. Same thing, jikijitsu can be done when your body knows the exquisite taste of, I will repeat this, exquisite taste of Zazen can only be tasted by your brain, body, heart, breath. Whether this is called what Hakuin Zenji say, deep samadhi or not, I call it exquisite taste of Zazen. This, you can do it. I am sure you have tasted at least once or twice, 3 times, or even more. Otherwise, you will not be here because you tasted something. Wow, wow, that's not a mere meditation. It's not a mere mindfulness. It's not a mere etc., etc. Really deep, subtle, taste free. Wow, wow, my God, oh my God. If this is Zazen, I will do it. And that's why you come, I assume. And this is why I do 3 sessions within 1 month. Wow. Just for me partially, and for the participants, let's enjoy. In this day and age, things are so confused. But this exquisite taste of Zazen will never be confused and never be destroyed as long as it is well transmitted from former generation to this generation to next generation, right?
Hi.
This is the point. actually, how to do Zazen can be written, but it is your body and mind, your comprehension, and our breath. If you understand, your body understands, what does this mean? Make a curve in the back of your bone. This is a key point. So anyway, what I was saying, deep samadhi is fine. The beautiful expression, but deep samadhi is actuality of each one of our body, mind, breath, feels. Without that, deep samadhi is just a dead word. That doesn't mean a thing. Each breath more clear. And even that kind of astonishment will be gone. And 9 generations, 10 generations, 100 generations of our ancestors all be saved at once on that day, on that moment of each one of us experienced that very moment is a moment they all come taste the same taste of what could be called samadhi. So it's a misleading what Hakuin Zenji said, 9 generations of his family will be emancipated, etc., etc. Emancipation means, wow, this is emancipation. In other words, in our everyday life, we are living without emancipation. Materialism, money, 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 thing, thing, thing. Without exquisite, pure feeling. Breath, chi, clarity. This is what Rinzai Zen Sangha, this group, wanted to experience and wanted to continue for next generations. But we are all getting old. And new people somehow doesn't like the traditional way, so freestyle of easy meditation, but the real one will never be destroyed. So Hakuin Zenji said, exalt yourself and exhaust yourself. You don't have to exhaust, but just sit correctly. Do Zazen correctly. And this simple reality, do not assume that you know how to do Zazen. Maybe you don't. Right? Maybe you don't. So each time I had a fantastic Rohatsu session in Europe. And again, I used this remove assumption, preconceived idea that everybody knew how to do Zazen. All participants are sitting 20, 30, 40 years. And to them, okay, let's start from ABC. They must be very hurt. Their pride was, they are crushed. Yeah. But, which is more important? Pride? Real Zazen. I take real Zazen. So I began from really A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And that made day one completely different from ordinary session. And the rest of the day, you can imagine, the day went, the word of deep doesn't work. Profound doesn't work. Lucid doesn't work. Really, not only my vocabulary is limited, even if someone has huge vocabulary, like Ungan, still cannot express. So when you come to that point, words used to be helpful, but it has a limitation. But this body, mind, hara, chi feeling, no limitation, but cannot be described. That's a problem. And therefore, we have to do it again, and again, and again, and again. And with a mission, okay? This is what Hakuin Zenji called great vow. We must have a vow. I call it mission. Some kind of, I have to do this. I have to do this. This is my life work. At least mission, at least a few people can understand this. So if life without mission and life with mission are quite different. So the Hakuin Zenji is telling us again and again, using various stories, but what I have said is Ungan, can you tell me something else about, instead of exquisite? Exquisite taste.
Marvelous.
Marvelous?
Marvelous.
Ah, no.
How about sublime?
Sublime. Sublime?
Sublime.
Sublime.
Yeah.
Delightful.
Huh?
Delightful.
You're like French.
Delightful.
What's wrong with exquisite?
Nothing.
Yeah?
No, it's fine.
It's perfect.
Then we stay exquisite. It's exquisite, undescribable, but you can feel in your heart, mind, brain, body, circulation, everything. And just sitting. So, this exquisite taste of the Zen to transmit from one generation to next generation, and this is a way to express our gratitude to Shakyamuni Buddha and all patriarchs, and for someday more people start to learn, experiment. It takes time, that's a problem. It takes time. It cannot be done at one sitting or at one session, again and again, like session after session, year after year, decade after decade. This is a mission, vow, and can be done every day sitting at home. Someday it goes well, someday it's terrible, regardless of what. And then there's a desire to come. Since it is so good, I'd like to share it with others. That's it. So you don't have to say, however innumerable all beings are, I vow to save them all. Fine, but before that, let each one of us experience this exquisite taste of Zazen, which may be called Samadhi. This is my talk on Rohatsu Zazenkai.